Yes, you read that right. This is not a clickbait. I usually play the hero on this channel, only showing the highlights, what's good about me, but today I'm gonna be the villain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal the dark side of my story with relationships so that you can hopefully learn from my mistakes. So let me just literally drop the truth right now. In my teenage years, I cheated on 2 of my girlfriends, and the third one, I left the day I saw my ex just to come back with her a few months later. And it's safe to say it was a mess. And although that shit, that whole dynamic created the most painful experiences of my life. We're talking, there was a moment where I literally wanted to eliminate myself. I never thought I would say this, but I'm grateful it happened. Very often, the deepest pains we go through often end up turning into our greatest purpose. So here are the 5 reasons I'm grateful I cheated. Reason number 1, it literally allowed me to find God. I remember the first time I cheated, it was a month after the beginning of the relationship. I mean, I grew up, everyone told me, Danny, you're gonna be the perfect husband. You're such a perfect man. Put me on a pedestal, literally. That's how my family brought me up, which is a blessing in a certain way. But then it made me live in this sort of weird ass bubble. And so there was an evening 1 month after my first relationship where the way I would describe it is I literally went unconscious, meaning sure, we're always conscious and I take responsibility for it 100%. However, it felt like I forgot I was in a relationship. I was in some form of a trance and I was texting a girl online, which by the way, I never cheated in person, but I was texting a girl online and ended up, going into like sexual texts and stuff. And once the session was done, that's when it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, what the heck did I just do? Did I just fucking cheat on my girlfriend? And in that moment, all the identity, the ego, the self-image I had built of this perfect human all just crashed and set me down the deepest existential crisis I've ever been in. And there was so much shame that my brain started scanning for all the most fucked up shit in the past. And it remembered some fucked up shit in the past. And so my whole self-image turned into this evil, like worst piece of shit. And for years, man, for years. And to this day, from time to time, the patterns still show up a little bit. So I have to do a lot of deep work, but I'll tell you later on why this is probably my deepest blessing. But for this reason, for this first reason, all of that pain and that confusion and that existential anxiety led me to look for answers. So I went into self-improvement. So I went into everything you could possibly look for until, and this is what all paths lead down to, I found God. And this is not a story or testimony about a specific religion. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about literally the divine, like the deepest level, the most grounded level of reality and of who we are. There is no freedom that could come close to freedom with God. But here's the thing. God also set it up in a way where you cannot shortcut your way into it. It comes after suffering or looking for answers or experience. Our world has been designed for the process of transmutation, for the process of turning pain into purpose. We must experience that contrast. We must experience what it feels like to feel stuck in order to even know what freedom is. And so this is one of my greatest blessings. Reason number 2, it allowed me to understand the dangers of pornography, you know what I'm talking about, and lust. I started watching porn when I was 9 years old, and there was a point in my teenage years where I was basically doing it on average, 4 times per day without exaggerating. And it created these sort of 2 identities. So in the external world, in my social life, I was perceived as this normal guy with great potential and a future loyal husband and father. And in the background, I was literally jerking off every day to the fantasy of cheating. Like, this was my main category. I explored many different genres, which we won't get into. But, my main thing was cheating. But it's so strange because it feels like my day-to-day life. I didn't realize it. I literally wasn't conscious of it. Like, it's so strange. It was literally my shadow. And to this day, I believe that this is why, in the moment that I first cheated, it kind of felt as if that shadow was taking over. And this is not a metaphor that I really like, because we're always in control, but at least on the conscious level, it felt like I had lost myself in the other identity. And so that's when for years I had to integrate that through shadow work, and we'll talk about it a bit later, but had to integrate and forgive and understand I am whole. It's not like I'm separated into all these different identities and stuff. I am the I am. Anyways, so it allowed me to really understand the impact that growing up watching corn could have on you. And it's going to be covered in a later point, but this is what ended up awakening a big purpose for a majority of my life. It allowed me to heal my relationship with sexuality, which I'm still working on, of course. It's a lifelong process. It allowed me to gain a deeper care and compassion for other men struggling with that. And it gave me meaning for a big chunk of my life. And that's where the other points start coming in. So reason number 3, it taught me what true, deep love and forgiveness feels like. So the example I always like to give is, it's very easy to love a puppy. How easy is it to love a cute little innocent puppy versus the most evil humans of history, right? So love, if you can fall in and out of, it means it's only a branch. It's a branch of love, like romantic love, for example. You can fall in romantic love, fall out of romantic love, because that's a branch. It's not true love. It's not the deep, unconditional love that is literally the essence of this world. That is the reason why we exist. And what happens when you are faced with these types of situations, when you look at yourself and you're like, am I the villain in that case? So it's not anymore something you project out in the world. Oh, this person is evil. Oh, let's cancel this person. It's like, oh, wait a minute. This is also inside of me. This is also part of my psyche. It's part of the collective human psyche. And it's so painful, but breaking through all of these layers of shame and guilt and judgment to reach that bottom of, can I still love myself even if I currently see myself as the worst human ever? Can I still have love for me even in that situation? Can I still love humanity even in their darkest moments? And this is what true love and forgiveness is. And when you reach that, you realize how big of an illusion the whole judgment, cancel culture, pointing fingers, it's such an illusion, and it's unbelievably freeing to truly experience that. Not only this, but it's only when you're able to love yourself so deep that you can be able to love someone else as deep. And if you look at the symbolism of one of the greatest men in history, if you just look at it from a story perspective, this is not about religion, this is not about a specific, subscribing to a specific religion here. It's just looking at the symbolism of it. When Jesus died on that cross, what did he say? He said, forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they're doing. So his whole message was one of forgiveness, and this created the most followed religion in history, and he is the most respected man probably in history. Forgiveness is the true purpose of this life. That's what it is. Forgiveness. And paradoxically, if you approach life with forgiveness, there is less harm that is done. If we assume that the purpose of shame and guilt and blaming and all that stuff is to ultimately keep the collective healthy, sane, and safe, then shame is the opposite of that. Then forgiveness is how you get there. Love is how you get there. So if whatever the heck you're struggling with right now in terms of shame, I don't care. Listen to me. Listen to me. I know your voice in your head, because that's what mine used to do. Will say, no, but if you really knew what I did, you wouldn't say that. I would say that. I would say that. I still love you unconditionally. You are still forgiven unconditionally. It does not mean there are no consequences, and that's okay. I had consequences. I had consequences when I've done my shit. It doesn't mean there are no consequences. Again, we are assuming the collective safety. But you deserve to feel loved and forgiven regardless. This is my most important message. Okay, reason number 4, the comeback story effect. Think about all the greatest stories, movies you've ever watched or you've ever listened to. What is your favorite part of the movie? What is the most exciting part of the movie? It's when the hero is met with evil, or the villain or whatever. It challenges the shit out of the hero. The hero hits rock bottom, and now it's time for the comeback. That's the Rocky cutscene where he's fucking training, getting ready to build his boxing career. This is the most exciting and inspiring moments of our stories. And so this is the blessing in disguise. This is the gift within something that can be perceived as a curse. When you go through some fucked up shit, and we're talking like the most fucked up shit, like shame and guilt and a feeling that life is not worth living anymore, all of that stuff, right? It means you have hit rock bottom. And by definition, if you've hit rock bottom, it means you can only go up from there. And that's what gives us meaning. The contrast between point A and point B creates progress, and we experience the quality of life through the filter of progress. You can also see meaning as the line between the yin and the yang, as the line between order and chaos, light and dark. And so as you're very far into the darkness and you're coming out of it, you're getting closer to that line and you're flowing, and it's such a meaningful process. Not only this, but then it allows you to have something meaningful to share with the world. No one will care, trust me, think about it. If you were to watch a movie where the character is happy from the beginning to the end, no problems, nothing bad ever happens, everything goes according to plan. No one wants to watch that, it's boring. And so if you want to have an impact on this world and you want to serve people, no one will feel inspired by a story that has no shame or pain or suffering. This is what creates the juice of it. This is what creates the meaning. And this leads us to point number 5. It gave me the purpose I have today. You guys can probably feel my energy as I'm speaking here. It comes from my heart. I care. I care. And there's no possible way I would have cared as much if I didn't go through the fucked up shit I went through. That is what I said at the beginning of the video. Remember? Turning pain into purpose. This is the process we are here for. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Suffering happens when you resist the pain or when you don't turn it into purpose. It's what allowed me to build the movement of tens of thousands of people, to build a community that ended up becoming #1 in its niche. Allowed me to live a life of deep meaning and contribution and growth. And guess what? It's only the beginning. It can only go up from here. This is a gift. And remember this one thing. Every single human on this planet, including you, is doing the absolute best of their capacity at every moment in time based on their level of consciousness and state of mind. Period. If you were to come back in time and go into the state of consciousness, the state of mind, the emotional state of you when you did the things that you now regret, guess what? You would have done the exact same thing. It is unfair to look at the past from the present and judge the past, because the only reason you have now the capacity, the consciousness to even judge that is because you went through that. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is when, once you realize this, is when you can truly experience freedom and forgiveness. And so this is my last message to you. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for making my life meaningful. And I'll see you here very soon. Much love.